Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ninth Lightning Talk event put on by the team at KEEZ, where we give community members a 5-minute spotlight to talk about whatever they want in whatever medium they prefer. With these Lightning Talks and ultimately KEEZ in general, we are trying to set up an environment where information and knowledge is constantly being shared and dispersed. Come and share because your words may spark inspiration in the minds of others and drive new innovation in the LUKSO ecosystem. These are hosted weekly and are recorded and posted on our YouTube as soon as we can after. Quick disclaimer. People may choose to use this time to talk about a project they are working on or something they may have invested in. KEEZ does not endorse anything brought up in these chats, and as always, do your own research. For today, we have 3 guests, not including myself, so 4 including myself, Polymath, Universal DAO, and Jean from the LUKSO team. Man, Polymath here would like to go first, so we can get him on up here. Polymath, longtime LUKSO community member and working on founding his project right now. Going to give an update. Polymath, how are you?
I'm really good. Very happy to be here. Thank you for your patience, Sage. You've been a real one dealing with my back end real life issues and accommodating. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate you.
Of course, no worries. I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah. How do you want to proceed? Should I just go?
Yeah, I'll start your 5-minute timer whenever you're good to go. And then yeah, you got 5 minutes, so go
I'm good to
crazy.
go. Yeah, so I think it was a Thursday or Friday afternoon, or maybe a Saturday. It was Saturday afternoon. I'd had this idea in mind that fuck, it's really hard to trade stuff on Luxo. Back then, Universal Swaps hadn't launched yet, and I thought, man, that could be cool. But like being a founder, you kind of have these ideas all the time. Once you've started, they just keep coming. But then the next day, Shafi, my friend, who's front end dev amongst other things, tweeted on made a post on Twitter saying, "Hey, I'm actually down for a side project and want to build in public. Like, let's see what happens." And so I reached out to him, reached out to 2 or 3 other people, and on that fateful Saturday afternoon, I shared them this idea for a place where you could trade assets trustlessly without third parties, and people were down. And at that time, uh, we actually had decided to call it Universal Swap. And 2 weeks in, Universal Swaps dropped, and we're like, okay, gotta change strategy. So basically, um, TradeUp is right now an OTC platform, and okay, we actually just pushed the testnet version to the website. It's still a little bit, there's still like a few bugs here and there, but we're down to put it out in the open for people to give it a shot, and we do have plans to push it to mainnet in the next few weeks when sentiment um, goes up a little bit, because there's no point just pushing something out right now. It's just not going to be. We had a lot of fun doing it. It's a project that we put a lot of energy and a lot of love in because we're fans of LUKSO. And thank you, Sage. And so yeah, it's now starting as an OTC platform, but we have more plans later down the line. We actually have already like a pretty. I'll just drop the word. We have DeFi plans for TradeUp. We want to make it a go-to place where people can trade, where people can have financial opportunities as well. When the Luxo infrastructure starts to allow for it. And the last thing I'll say is decentralization is the one thing that I personally care the most about. And everything I build with decentralization in mind. And this means that stakeholders and owners of this platform, whether it's through NFTs, whether it's through uh, tokens, this platform or any platform, I think those stakeholders need to participate in the governance, need to participate in the. Oh man, Tento, you messed it up for me. wanted to drop it at the end. But I don't blame you. I'm also very excited. We literally pushed it to the website like a half hour ago. And yeah, so when TradeUp goes live to May, yeah, Tanto is everywhere. When it goes live to mainnet, we will have a plan to make the earliest users our owners of this platform, and they will then become yeah, invested into the future of this platform, and the your voice will play a great role in the strategy and the decisions that we make, and where we take this. So yeah, and as Tento rugged me, you can now see that you can go and test and try it out on testnet. Verified contract on testnet. What do you mean? Is the contract verified? Is that the question? I don't know, man. I don't know. And none of the team could join me today. Let me try to get that. So yeah, that's me and that's straight up.
Nice. Well, good to hear. I know I've been waiting a little bit to get caught up on TradeUp, and I'll definitely be looking to give it a test, if not on testnet, definitely when it goes on mainnet. And it's great to follow along Polymath too. I mean, you definitely want to be able to support the founders of these projects, and you yourself are definitely publicly sharing your opinions all the time on Twitter. And great to hear you talk about decentralization. Great to hear you talk about kind of these principles that you like to build around. Those are easy to support. So yeah, it's good stuff. I look forward to following along. We'll have all these links posted in the YouTube video too, so people can go check it out. Is there anywhere else you'd like people to keep up with you? Do you guys have a common ground? Anything like that?
We do. Let me bring that up.
Cool. Sweet. We can get that block explorer for Tonto too, so he can continue
Yeah.
sleuthing. There's the app from Polymath.
Yeah, it keeps sleuthing. Yeah, whenever I get the block explorer, I'll share it.
Sweet. Thanks
Thanks,
again,
thanks for
Polymath.
having me.
Of course. Anytime you'd like to come and update or chat about anything, feel free.
Absolutely,
It's
I'll
good to
let you know.
talk.
Always. Thanks, Sage. Appreciate you.
Of course. Okay. Rob, you're a G. Universal DAO or Jean, either of you care to go next? If not, I'll just pull up one of you. There we go. Universal DAO raised his hands. We'll get them up here. How are you guys today on this fine morning, or morning for me, I guess?
Hello.
Hello.
Nice. There you go. I think it's a little laggy for me, but that's okay. So thanks for having us here, guys. Super excited. If you guys haven't heard of us, I'll just give a brief background of our origin story. So basically, my co-founder and I, we both went to East Denver, and we didn't really know what we wanted to build. And then I've been following LUKSO myself for like 7 months maybe at this point, and we kind of realized, hey, there's not much DeFi tooling. This was before Universal Swaps launched, before really anything, and we kind of realized we could definitely fill that void because we both know how to build these types of tools. So hackathon went, we did that. We kind of built an ERC20 bridge to start, and then transitioned that into basically our governance token, just to try to get some community engagement for the judges, which did end up working as we placed third on one of the tracks, which was awesome. And then we also created like a native stablecoin for LUKSO. So I think it's really important to kind of understand that LUKSO's key branding is the creative economy, right? And that's how they've positioned themselves. And we want to be in line with that because that really does allow you to reach a larger audience, especially at the creative side. But we also realized that not everyone is comfortable holding a volatile asset like LUKSO, as we've seen recently, went up to $11, back down to 4-ish, 5, and now we're just kind of chopping away around. And having a kind of safe haven asset is something that's really important on chain. especially for artists who want to maximize their value. And when they sell a piece of artwork, they want to make sure they can just let it sit there in their wallet and not have it depreciate in value. Obviously, there is a counter argument that it could appreciate, but that is way more risky for a lot of the creatives who I think LUKSO are aiming to onboard. So we thought launching Universal Dollar would be a great kind of first step into the community and to get that out there. That is live on mainnet now. I sound like Vitalik. I'll take it. Yeah, so happy to answer any questions you guys got around basically anything crypto, anything Universal DAO related, anything governance related, all that stuff. Oh, Universal Buck. I kind of like that. Maybe we'll go give a little amendment to the smart contract because you can do that with LUKSO, which is cool.
Very cool. Great to hear from you. Yeah, congratulations on that Eat Denver Hackathon prize too. That's very cool. Back-to-back speakers talking about DeFi on LUKSO, which is cool to hear. You guys having now your governance token out there and that stable coin on the mainnet, right? That's pretty. That's good to see too as well. Let me ask you this: where can people best keep up with you? Would it be the Twitter? Would it be? Do you guys have a common ground?
Yeah, we have a common ground. We're not super active on that at the moment yet. But you can also just go to our Twitter. It's Universal DAO. Has our website linked in there, which is universaldao.xyz. In there, we have also like more docs that go a little bit deeper into the tech and the reasoning behind everything, all that good stuff. And then just speaking on utility for the Universal Dollar as well. Right now, we would love if you guys want to send some LUKSO over and just test it out, try to break it. It won't break, but definitely good to get some more just universal dollars floating around in the ecosystem. And then for utility wise, looking to partner up with some of the ecosystem, other projects, kind of just getting universal dollar on their platforms. Example, getting like Universal Page to have universal dollar as another payment option would be pretty awesome, kind of giving creators optionality there. So that's the future for us that we're focused on at the moment. So yeah, thanks for having us, guys. And feel free to reach out in DMs anywhere. Happy to chat.
Great to hear. I was going to say it sounds like a challenge you just issued for Tonto there, and he beat me to it. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, great, and great for the partnerships too. If we can spread these stable coins out into as many kind of apps and protocols as possible, it'll just only help the insurance behind it for sure. Okay, cool. We can now get our last speaker here besides myself up here. Jean, the smart contract team lead at LUKSO. Jean, how are you today?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you great.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not used to common ground in the mic. Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, thanks for having me today. I mean, for those who don't know me, yeah, so my name is Jean. I work at LUKSO on the smart contract team, and I've been working for like now more than 2 years and a half on developing the standards and smart contract implementation in Solidity. And yeah, now for the last, I think nearly 6 months, yeah, I've been moved to leading the smart contract team with Daniel, Maxime, and Yaman. Yeah, and very happy about the smart contract team we have and all the work we've been doing. And very happy to see all these universal profile now live on mainnet. It feels very great to see that what we have been drafting from scratch really now it can be visualized on the mainnet chain. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect me for me to give as update, but I think what has been going great recently on at LUKSO on more on the smart contract side is that on the smart contract has become a bit more stabilized what we have been releasing, and we have this new thing called the mono repo, meaning that all the LSPs now can be consumed individually as their own package. It's a very different way that we are pushing forward, so that basically builders can just focus on the standards that they need for their application. So I'm thinking like things like if developers are more into building the app around token and NFT, they can consume LSP7 and 8. With those who are more into, like governance, they can consume key managers, or like for those who are trying to create a more like big integration, they can consume the whole umbrella package. So yeah, this is like a big move that we have been moving towards, and yeah, and we are really helping the team to make the browser extension as smooth and as usable as possible. Yeah, and side of that, I'm also very excited at the moment because I'm been working for quite a long time into my all about Solidity article series and converting it into a book. And I have a bit of a delay in my timeline, but hopefully in the next coming week, I should have that as an early release book on the on the on LeanPub. So basically, it's a platform where you can pay a price range that you want, and I'm releasing this book as a like a software, meaning there will be versions like you can buy the book as an early version, and then I just upgrade the book and add more content and improve based on the community feedback. And you can just download the new version. You don't have to buy the new book. You just download the next version, and yeah, otherwise that would be too easy. And yeah, and I'm very happy to be a bit on some calls with community. I used to do that a bit more on Twitter, and I think it's quite nice. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for now. I mean, in terms of like the TLDR.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for coming on again, John. I was going to ask how the Solidity series are going. Cool that you're bringing it into a book. I love that aspect of just being able to kind of re-download the new versions of it as it progresses. Where did you say you were going to release that?
It's gonna be on LeanPub. I will write it on the chat. LeanPub. So it's like a platform where you can publish early book, but then you can publish any book really.
Cool.
So it's like my own it's like you are self-publishing your own book. Yeah, and yeah,
Nice.
that's where I will release that.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll definitely be on the look for that. And yeah, thanks again for all your hard work at LUKSO on these standards. I saw that there was some new updates on them on LSP and 8. Was it this morning?
Yeah, so yeah, basically we are communicating a bit more what we do on Twitter and Medium. And yeah, there was this new feature that we decided after talking also to other developer and the community around LSP7. So it's things like the ability that you can in both of the token standards, you can basically, if you are an operator, so like for those who are not familiar with the token standard, it's basically like the other ERC standards. It's a feature that also exists in the other ERC standards. So when you own token or NFT, you can either have control over them, over the token and NFT that you own, or you can grant someone to transfer these tokens of these NFTs on your behalf, and we call that an operator. And the new feature that we added is that if you are an operator, you can basically so like as a user, you can grant an operator for this purpose, and then you can revoke it. So you're saying that you're not allowed to spend my allowance or my NFTs. But now what we added is that the operator can now also revoke itself, decide that, okay, I don't want to, I will revoke my own allowance or my own permission to transfer these NFTs. And what this enables is that it makes some type of transaction flow easier, and it reduces like risk of having leftover buffers of certain allowance. So like, for instance, if you are doing swaps or with DEX, you might give an extra buffer to the operator because there are slippage, and the swap the protocol makes a swap, and then there might be a leftover because you have a buffer. So then in a callback transaction, now the operator can actually kick itself out, so that you don't have any of these remaining amounts that you leave to the operator, and it makes just transaction a bit more fluid. So yeah, that's the main feature really that was added. But yeah, I will post the link of the article on Medium so that you can have a look. It's not a long read really. It's just
Cool.
some technical, some like high level updates.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure there's some people down there that would love to give that a read. Real quick too, Jean, before you drop down, is there anything like anybody who's building on LUKSO right now, if they don't plan to utilize these updates, do they have to do anything to their contracts that utilize LSP 7 and 8 right now? Or if not, they're fine?
Yeah, so no, I mean, basically, if you are building a token contract, you can use the new smart contract version that has this feature, so regulated smart contract. If you are like an existing DApp, more like on the DApp side, not on the smart contract side, yeah, ideally you will just have to ensure that your DApp support both interface IDs of LSP7. So because of the new feature, one of the interface identifier for LSP7 got changed. So like all tokens previously deployed had an old interface ID, and the new token have this new interface ID. So basically, if your application need to display or need to interact with some logic, you just have to make sure that you support both of these identifiers. It's explained in the article. Yeah, and I'm also available on Twitter or Discord if there's any question from the developer community. I mean, we are getting more and more closer to developer level all of these questions, so feel free to ask for anything.
Cool. Well, thank you for the updates, Jean. That is great. And we'll definitely follow along when that book comes out. I'd love to check it out. Definitely, if any of your colleagues are interested in coming on and chatting on the Lightning Talks too, encourage that all day. But yeah, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Serge, for having me and the invite.
Of course. Okay. Last presentation of the day is myself, unless anyone down in the crowd would like to come up after me and talk. Mine will be pretty short. I'm just kind of hit on some of the topics around SocialFi that have been flying around lately from some of Fabian's comments. Let me set my timer. So in this last week, Ryan Sean Adams of Bankless posted a tweet asking about what all the chains were known for, right? He stated that Arbitrum was a DeFi chain and Zora is an art chain, Solana, the meme chain. And then LUKSO co-founder Fabian joined in on the fun and commented that LUKSO is a social chain. This then led Ethylorian and Alts Anonymous to highlight this point in the recent wrap-up, which a lot more great talk on this. And then it also led to the LUKSO builders group to put out a thread on this on Twitter. And I kind of just want to spend some time highlighting that thread because I'm pretty personally bullish on that builder group, having talked to their lead, Jean, a couple times. He's been around LUKSO now for about 3 years, participated in both the build-up and the build-up 2, getting first-place prizes, and is just really bullish and looking to stick around LUKSO. So I appreciate their thinking, and they definitely express that a lot through their Twitter. So I wanted to highlight some of that here. One of the first points he makes, or they make on the LUKSO Twitter, is that To be a social chain or to be known for SocialFi doesn't necessarily mean just rethinking Twitter, right? It means creating and optimizing anywhere for people to get social. This includes Twitter, IG, and YouTube, but also apps like Airbnb, Twitch, Patreon, LinkedIn, Udemy, right? And also improving crypto tools like Block Scouts and marketplaces that might be lacking in some of the social elements, where there could definitely be some improvement. Um, Now, one could argue these apps already work great and there's no need to remake them. Others, like the guys at LUKSO, would argue that remaking them using LUKSO could make them 10 times better than what they are now. In that same thread, they highlight some of those reasons that LUKSO is really pushing this narrative, especially on LUKSO. A lot of these have definitely been hit on again, but it's good to revisit the stuff, especially where we're having these thoughts fly around. And again, um, rather than just pandering to people who have been around LUKSO for a while, trying to create some content that's easily shareable to people who've never discovered LUKSO before. So one would be profile creation. So that's like one of the biggest selling points for the universal profile, is that instead of having to create a profile on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and have them all be separate from each other, you'll have this one universal profile that you can take from social setting to social setting and taking your interactions everywhere you go, right? Fantastic use case there for SocialFi on LUKSO. On a similar app, if these apps are built decentralized, you won't have to worry about anyone taking your profile away from you, right? So that universal profile is yours, and as long as you keep it safe and accessible, you can keep transacting and socializing with it. To make that happen, we need to build these apps as decentralized, open source, and permissionless as LUKSO states. Not only does this enable more censorship-resistant systems, but open source enables a scale for upgrading that is harder to achieve in traditional versions of these apps. Right, so they're emphasizing bounties and other upgradable improvements through open source tech, which, again, from a builder group, is great to see. Similar reasons why I was expressing earlier that it's great to see Polymath talking about these things. By building apps like the ones mentioned above, we can also create higher levels of cross-platform functionality. In theory, on LUKSO, you can create a quicker, easier, and more fluid way to plug in something like Patreon and Twitch if both these projects were open source and permissionless. If that were to happen in the Web 2 area right now, it would most likely be a pretty slow process, and I'm sure they'd figure it out because those are massive companies at this point. But the potential for it on LUKSO or on another blockchain is definitely higher. And last, which is another one they bring up that is I don't want to say a touchy subject, but it touches on data sharing. Cross-platform data sharing on LUKSO would be able to improve the usability of some of these platforms, as rather than Instagram having personal access to all of your data and then selling it as they need. If this information was attached to the user or more publicly available, disregarding, I guess, like PII information. Again, that's where this thing might get touchy for sharing sensitive data around in a public manner. That's not something that we necessarily want to enable, but information in a social setting of who I've interacted with and all these things that I can take around with my universal profile would definitely create for cool user experiences across these new social platforms. So again, this line of thinking is why I'm really enjoying what the LUKSO Builder Group has to offer right now. Sorry about that. They also added in their thread the last couple tweets, either we build or wait for the builders to build this 10x future because we're feeling it's inevitable. And LUKSO team, John and everybody else around has spent now the better part of 7 years putting this blockchain into a position where we can start to capitalize on these things. And the LUKSO team ends that with be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day. Have faith in your reasoning, not in the charts. And I think that, especially as looking at the charts this morning, that hopefully resonates with a lot of you. But again, make sure to follow up on the LUKSO Twitter. They have a lot of good content coming out there, and they haven't publicly released any of the apps that they're building or any of the projects that they're working on, but it will be coming, and I will be following along, that's for sure. Okay, cool. Anybody down in the crowd there have any interest in coming up? Yep, Tonto wants to chat real quick. We'll get him up here. Tonto, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. Sage, great job as always on these lightning rounds. I love them. Just wanted to share a little bit. I think you guys have seen us tweeting recently about the universal profile.store. We've pretty much built an on-chain dApp registry, and there is an accompanying Chrome extension, which will pretty much avoid common maybe like URL spoofing or domain hijacking attacks. Basically, like before you connect your app, it'll verify that you are on the correct URL that is on chain in the registry. So I'm thinking that, we've been chatting a lot about reputation systems in the KEEZ chat there. It's great. And obviously one interesting part of reputation is probably like, what have you built in the past, and is there an on-chain record of that in the registry? And so maybe on other chains something like this wouldn't get traction, where you're paying gas to write the metadata for your application into an on-chain registry. Like that'd be very expensive to do on ETH. It's really only possible with the current subsidized gas that we have on LUKSO, that we can actually use the blockchain as a database, or at least a viable data store to just reference. And then so the contract is live. We've made a couple of updates to it over time as we've just kind of been debugging it and adding on new listings. Ideally, we're like kind of on the fence whether we make this like a form and as easy for people to submit, because the interesting way about making people use the block explorer to add the listing is that it kind of like, well, it gets people building on LUKSO having to talk to a dev, or at least a builder themselves. And I don't know if that's a way we're going to do it before. We obviously are spending a lot of time ourselves kind of reaching out to people, but we really want this to be an inbound process and to abstract away the difficulty of it. So like, please, there's a, the contract is verified, like everything that we build, and it's live. It's in the header menu of the URL. There's a form there for people building. It doesn't even have to be an application. Like, we're happy to just submit your collection. Like Platy's decided to join and just submitted their universal page link to their collection, right? So the cool thing is that this listing ends up getting transferred. Once we've added it, we'll also ask for the team member, hey, like, what's your universal profile? We'll make you the owner of the listing. And then we plan on, I'm going to make a little YouTube video documentation of how people can go about managing their listing. Let's say you want to change the metadata that shows up on our directory. Well, we pull all that data in from the contract. So, I think it's like something fun that, like, obviously we were really inspired by Dave and his ecosystem map. And I know that he was working closely with the KEEZ DAO team and their amazing, there's an awesome Notion page that has an ecosystem map table of like everybody who's building. We looked at that and thought, hey, wouldn't it be great to just like put this on chain, right? And obviously, we were inspired by some of the stuff we built at ETH Denver. Congratulations to everyone who won a prize and who attended. That was awesome to see more LUKSO submissions, and I'm really excited for any other upcoming events, like maybe ETHCC in Brussels or DevCon in Bangkok. So if you guys are thinking about going, reach out to me, because I'd love to travel and build with LUKSO. And definitely the Universal DAO people, everyone in the group, Heisenberg, other amazing builders, like, we're excited to just put our heads together and just keep building. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks so much for your guys' time.
Of course, Tonto, thanks for coming and sharing, man. Drop me some of those links too, so we can keep them up in the put them in the YouTube video in case anyone listens through and wants to go check them out too. Thanks for coming again. It looks like Jean has his hand up again. I know that Heisenberg was talking about asking him some questions. So, Rob, you think we bring Jean up here real quick just for some questioning? Jean, how are you? Welcome back.
I mean, no, I'm just not. It's not particularly to respond to the question on the chat, because we have a lot of channels, so I can respond more in a one-to-one case. No, but I just wanted to say that yeah, I recently met quite a few people from the community in person, like especially recently at ETH Denver. Yeah, and yeah, just want to say thank you, all of you guys, for coming to these events and talking to us. Yeah, and like carry on building, and yeah, I think it's great to really. I mean, you know, like I think when you have interaction in person with people, it's very different, and I think it's like very insightful, because you know, like have there's more to it. Like when you can get a lot of ideas by having chat in person. Yeah, for instance, I really appreciated the feedback from Tanto DeFi on this thing about no, not having any documentation on how do you migrate from ERC20 and 71 to SP7 and 8. So yeah, we made the video, the workshop on that. I think there might be, I'm not sure if there might be a recording, but there will definitely be documentation and a guide from that. This is going to be it's in our backlog. I saw the ticket is in our backlog. But yeah, I mean, if there is anything for all the people building here who are on the call, if anyone has a like really particular specific question, like really feel free to reach out to us. I mean, we are very busy, but we are always open to get more suggestion, and if you need advice on how to build certain features and protocols, or really that you can. I think really the idea on the core team, what we want is that we want to show you really what you can really do with a standard, because we have a very in-depth knowledge about all the features that this enable. And yeah, we really want you to leverage that. So like things like if you want to do dynamic NFTs, or like if you want to, I mean, anything really, anything that might cross your mind, or that you have a question mark in your head. But yeah, and yeah, thank you. It was mainly for that, like really to say thank you to the community and to meet the people in person. But yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you coming back up. I mean, the sentiment is awesome. And again, it's great to meet people in public, but that can only happen with you making yourself available. So thanks for traveling and doing all you do on the ground, as well as back at the office too. So appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Is there anybody else that's down in the crowd that would be interested in coming up and sharing? If not, I'll just start my closings and then check again. We have a KEEZ Spaces starting tomorrow. I think it's at 10 a.m. East, so a couple hours earlier than we are right now. It's just kind of an open forum to chat on Twitter. We're trying to figure out kind of the different platforms. That we do one live stream on YouTube, we do this on Common Ground. We're going to get back into Spaces on Twitter, so we can ultimately reach as many crowds of people that are trying to consume our content as possible. So that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll be hosting that as well, see who comes up. I think that the wrap up this week is going to be on Thursday instead of Friday. So look for updates on that. Either way, it'll go up on our YouTube, and we'll be sharing it out as much as we can for sure. It looks like we got one Metaversal raising his hand. We'll bring him up here and see what's up. Oh, it will be on Friday, but pre-recorded, says Rob. So we'll record it on Thursday, and then we'll drop it at the normal time on Friday. Thank you, Rob. Metaversal man, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I really just had more of a question, and I don't know if this would be for Jean or for anyone else out there, but how do I find out more about what the followers system is going to look like? And might that be something where it's all going to be on chain? So, for example, you'll be able to take your followers with you across applications. Does anyone have any insight on where that is right now?
I don't really have any insight on that. I do know that, I mean, it'll be interesting. Like, we have followers on Common Ground here. Like, people can follow my universal profile, but I'm not sure if that information is on chain or off chain or easily transferable to other platforms or not. Um, I'm not totally sure. I don't know if that's a better question for Jean, or the spaces tomorrow might be a good place to ask that, because we'll have like ideally more people around and more people to be able to throw up on stage and get other answers from. But I'll ask around as well and see if I can find any better answers for you than what I just gave you there.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay. Again, yeah, Spaces tomorrow. Wrap up will be out on Friday, but it won't be live. Kind of a bummer. You'll miss the chats. But again, Ethan Alts are always around. Feel free to go badger them wherever they're located at the time. Lightning Talks again will be next Tuesday. It'll probably be at a similar time. I'm talking with Zaid at Platy's, trying to get them on just because it's been now 2 weeks since their launch. I think it'd be cool they just dropped like a roadmap in their Discord and stuff. So some updates from them would be cool, but they're in Australia. So normally we're early to like midday East, which is not a great time for them. So if I can get Zaid free, maybe we'll do either later East or earlier East. But if not, we'll be at the same time. Again, just look out on the KEEZ Twitter. We'll have the updates there. And the event feature in Common Ground, it'll definitely be linked there as well. So cool. Thanks for coming, everyone. Another great show. And I'll talk to you tomorrow in the Spaces. See ya.